everybody, so today's video, 10 rules for life with an RV. This is going to be good for people who are really serious, like really almost about to pull the trigger on the RV, or that have just purchased their RV, and for some folks, for people that have had an RV for quite some time. So 10 rules for life with an RV. Brooke, you want to start us off?
Sure. So our first one we want to talk about is don't be married to your RV. Don't feel like every trip you have to go on, you have to take your RV. For instance, this year when we went to the beach, we stayed in a condo and we didn't really feel guilty. It's okay. We have plenty of other trips planned with our RV. So that's our number, I guess, one rule to mention today is just don't feel like you always have to go in your RV.
That's right. Go on that cruise, go to that resort. It's okay. You'll start to resent it if you don't. Our second rule, don't blow your budget. So you're going to have things, I know bigger, everyone thinks bigger is better and all that fun stuff, but you're going to have things that you're going to want to include into the RV. There's a whole world of accessories out there that you don't even realize until you start shopping for them. So don't blow your budget just on the RV. Leave plenty of room for new mattresses. If you looked at our top 5 accessories video, leave room for all that stuff. Don't blow your budget right out of the gate.
All right, the next rule we're going to talk about is plan ahead and make the time. It's so easy to kind of get caught up in the grind and the day-to-day busyness and not make time to plan those trips. One thing we've done this year with our RV is we planned almost a full year at the beginning of 2018. So we knew where we were going to be camping in November, probably back in, I'd say, January, February. And I think we even mentioned it in one of our videos. So it's really been great. It's given us something to look forward to every month, but it also ensured that we made the time instead of just kind of coming up with the excuse, oh, the campground's already booked and we didn't really have a chance to plan our trip there. So that's a great one. Plan ahead. Sometimes kids' sports get in the way, kids' activities, but if you know kind of when that season starts and when that season ends, you can at least plan around that, since you won't know weekend to weekend maybe where you'll be or what sport you'll be participating in.
And you kind of mentioned it too, like you almost have to plan ahead with these campgrounds nowadays. A lot of campgrounds book up, especially during the summertime when school's out, fall break, spring break, right around Christmas and Thanksgiving. A lot of the COE, the Corps of Engineer campgrounds, shut down in the fall, so that's all that many more people going to the state parks, going to private campgrounds. So it really helps out with that too.
Yeah.
Another rule: do tons of research. I probably don't have to tell you this one, but there's so many floor plans, so many different manufacturers. There is a difference in quality in manufacturers. Just make sure you're prepared for that. If you're spending a little bit of less money, understand you're spending a little bit less money, if you know what I mean. And do tons of research. There's all kinds of ways you can do that through Google and just going out there and walking through these things, all of the RVs. Just do tons of research and make sure that this is the right floor plan, the right manufacturer, the right price point for you.
Right, and especially even customer service. That's something you research, is to find that company that has a great customer service. For us, that company was Grand Design. And for you, it may be a different company, but customer service is so important. You don't want to be disappointed in the service you get after you've purchased your rig. So the next rule is don't worry about the weather forecast. If we had canceled all of our trips this year because the forecast said it was going to rain, we probably would have missed half of them. Probably. And lucky for us, the forecast almost always changed after we got to the campground, and it always ended up in our favor. Now, we know that doesn't always happen, but we were so glad we pursued keeping our reservation and going on that trip even when it looked like there's a chance of storms or rain. Now, one exception, of course, is dangerous weather. So when hurricane was rolling in here a couple weeks ago, we did cancel our trip because we were expecting tropical storm force winds, and we didn't feel like that our camper was the match for those. So we did cancel that trip. But if it's rain, it's a thunderstorm, try to tough it out. Sometimes you can have fun in the rain too. We've definitely hiked in the rain and had a great time. So
had a great time. And another thing was Hurricane Florence a few weeks ago. There was a lot of evacuees coming our way, and that was the main reason we canceled, just to make room for them. So we were expecting winds for a little while, but I don't think the winds ever got that bad.
No, they didn't.
Leaving room for those evacuees was important. All right, next rule: join social media groups. So every manufacturer And even the subsidiaries of those manufacturers, like for would you just use Grand Design for example? They have their own Imagine owners. They have Reflection owners. I'm sure Jayco has J-Flight owners. There are different lines of travel trailers. Join the social media groups. It's nice because obviously those people are real owners. They aren't getting paid by anybody. They'll give you real reviews, their real experiences, and a lot of times they'll tell you the good things too. Unfortunately, a lot of times reviews are only bad. People only take the time to review something if it's bad. Right. So in the case of social media, they like to brag on their rigs. They like to show you different things they've done to them, different modifications. It's really cool to join those social media groups.
I'm sure you get some good ideas and probably troubleshooting too. If you've had an issue with your rig and you're in a group with someone with the same rig, they probably can help you fix something that they may have run into in the past.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, the next one, expect quirks. And that was hard for me because when we did all this research and we found the rig we wanted, I wanted it to be perfect. And it's been great, but every rig is going to have its quirks. They're producing so many rigs. So I think it's important to always keep that in mind. Don't be disappointed. It's going to have its quirk. There are going to be things about that rig that kind of maybe just unique to that rig.
So also with the quirks, understand, these things are going through hurricane force winds every time you pull them down the road. They're going through a 5.5 magnitude earthquake every time you pull them down the road. Screws come loose. Yeah. There's really nothing the manufacturer can do about that. Fittings come loose, pipes come loose. There's really nothing they can do about that. If they were to go in and weld everything or put everything together so securely, similar to a car, the things would cost $100,000. So just understand they go through all of those stresses. So expect quirks. It's really good to have those expectations going in, and then when little things do happen, because they will, you're not as upset, and you're prepared to fix them as well. So next on the list, watch YouTube videos.
Yes.
Especially ours. No, I'm just kidding. In reality, there's some folks out there that are a lot smarter than we are, and they make some really great YouTube videos. I bet I probably watched, this is a sincere number, probably 500 YouTube videos on before we bought our rig and after we bought our rig. So there's things like we're talking about the quirks. There's generally going to be a YouTube video for that. So they kind of tie in with each other. Between the social media groups and the YouTube videos, you're generally going to find something. Our channel is really good at trying to show you places to camp and things to do while you're there camping. So we hope our channel does a decent job of that. You've got other channels up there like Keep Your Daydream, Long Long Honeymoon. All of those are legit and they're great resources. So use them, and they're free. So that's pretty good. YouTube videos.
Right. When we were even researching for kind of picking out our rig, I swear every night I'm like, oh my gosh, he's watching more RV videos, but it paid off because we found the perfect one for us. So it's just true testament. Watch the YouTube videos. You'll learn so much. So the last rule that I'm going to mention is don't take the easy route on your repairs. Don't find the cheapest repair. Sometimes that's not the best. And it's just so important if you're going to do a repair, if you're going to work on something on your rig, to do it right, do it well, even if that means taking it into the shop, which I know we all don't like to do. But it's just so important to do it right. That way you're not dealing with it again, or it doesn't mess anything else up. And I know you probably want to chime in on that one, but that one's just one of those things. I'm like, if we're going to get an RV and we're going to do anything to it, we're going to do it well. And that was kind of something I felt very strongly about when we purchased our camper.
That's right. So, I mean, we didn't buy the cheapest camper in the world. We certainly didn't buy the most expensive one either. But one of the things that was important to us was, one, the manufacturer was doing things the correct way, but also if things do happen, we can depend on that customer service to come through and do things the right way as well. This also a great point for doing things yourself. So I know people have their little tips and tricks, and sometimes those are great. Sometimes they really do work, but just be careful. That kind of goes back to those YouTube videos. Not everybody that on YouTube knows what they're doing. All right, there may be some things that we do that we may not know what we're doing. I don't think there are, but who knows? There are people out there that are smarter than us.
They'll tell us.
You guys will tell us. That's right.
That's right.
So just because it's on YouTube, just because you've done that research, do double research and make sure it's legit. I know it's important. Some people choose they try to chance it and don't winterize, or they'll use zip ties where zip ties aren't appropriate, or duct tape where, in a pinch when you have to do it, it's great, but make sure to get those repairs, either do them yourself correctly or have them professionally done. All right, last one, and this one's a big one for us. know your tow vehicle's ability. Man, I can't tell you. I guess it was when we were driving to the beach, like Brooke mentioned.
Down 75.
Down I-75 to Florida. I can't tell you how many times you can just look and know that those trucks are completely overloaded. I mean, you've got a half-ton towing a fifth wheel with bicycles on the. I mean, I understand there's some cases where you can't afford a new vehicle, or you found a good deal on a camper and your tow vehicle can't tow it appropriately, but you're going to try it anyway. I understand those situations, but keep in mind we're all on the road. And it's one thing for you guys to get out if you're way overloaded. It's one thing for you guys to get out and tow it somewhere on your own, but you're going to come across others that are on the road, and that's where it gets a little bit frustrating and a little bit scary, really. Right. It's not how much your truck can tow. Keep that in mind. Now, the manufacturers, all three of them, I'm not just talking about Ford, or all three manufacturers, and Nissan now, they're starting to be a player. They tell you the tow, how much the vehicle can tow. You need to worry more about how much it can haul, because most of these half tons, you're at 1,500 pounds and your tow hitch is 900 of those pounds. Well, you best be towing by yourself, or you're going to run out of payload really quick. So how much you can haul is the most important number, not necessarily how much you can pull behind you. Because keep in mind that pin hitch is what you're hauling. And if it's 900 or 1,000 pounds, or in some fifth wheel cases 1,500 pounds and more, you're going to run out of payload really fast. Now, can some of the new trucks, especially like the EcoBoost and stuff like that, can they pull it? Yeah, they've got tons of power. They can pull it. I mean, they've got as much or more power than diesels did 15 years ago. All right? Can they stop it? In some cases, yeah, they can stop it. But you're wearing out your bearings. You're wearing out your transmission. A lot of times you're loaded incorrectly, so you got a bow right there in the middle where your truck's slanted down and your rig is slanted forward, and you're putting too much stress on that front axle. There's just a lot of things that go in towing. Do some homework. I guess that's the best way I can put it. Do some homework about your tow vehicle's ability.
That's your soapbox, and you're sticking to it.
That's my soapbox, and I'm sticking to it. I'm sure there's a lot more rules to talk about, but I mean, if you follow these 10 rules, either right before or right after you buy your rig, you're going to have a much better experience, I think.
Yeah, and I think there are personal rules. There are things that we talked about. They may not be kind of what you follow, and that's okay. We just thought we'd share kind of our beliefs and our thoughts around owning an RV and being owners who try to use it often.
That's right.
Not every weekend, but at least once a month when possible. And we're going on our actually first really long trip on it here in a couple weeks. So taking it down to the beach for fall break. So that's kind of how we're using our rig and how we're choosing to kind of have some guidelines around that.
Yep. Go get a rig, guys. If you haven't got one yet, I don't think you'll regret it. We really enjoy ours.
Yeah, it's been a really great decision we've made.
Yep. See you guys. We'd love to hear what kind of guidelines you have for either shopping for a rig or now that you've bought your rig. Leave those in the comments section below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go for it, man. We've got a great road trip coming up down to the Florida Panhandle and FDR State Park. So we'd love to take you along. Make sure to subscribe.